Good morning and welcome to today's webinar. This is a pre-recorded webinar, but we will answer questions live at the end. We'll be covering how to use and utilize privileges in priority in order to control access to the system, and we'll also look at packages. And we'll also be looking at fields, sublevels, and actions. We've muted all attendees, but please use the Q&A box to ask any questions, and at the end, I'll review and answer as many questions as possible. And if not, I'll get back to you with answers individually after the webinar. So as an introduction for you, today we're going to review some of the ways in which you can make the form layouts work better for you and for your business and specific business users. We can do that in three ways. On the left, you've got the design tool, which has got organized fields, organized actions, and organized sublevels, and we'll look at how to copy that to other users as well. We've got privileges in the middle, so we'll look at Privilege Explorer. And then on the right, we've got packages, so we'll look at how to completely change your system with just a few clicks. Firstly, let's discuss organizing fields, actions, and sublevels. As you can see in the picture above, you can get to any of these functions by going to the menu in the top right-hand corner, going to Design, and then you have all three options. You can also access organized fields within the cog menu. What we can also see on the right-hand side is that once you're in any of these three, it's easy to access the other two simply by clicking on them. So let's jump into priority and have a look. So I'm going to open up the sales order form. And I'm going to use the cog this time and just simply go to organized fields. Now, you can hide any field except for mandatory fields. Those cannot be hidden. But any other field you can hide simply by clicking on the dot and going to hide and hide in this form only. You can rename any field by clicking it and it will come up like that. You can merge two fields together, as you can see in the scheduling column. If two fields are merged, they will look like this, and you can also split them up. So you can either split the columns or you can merge two columns together. If a column has one of these right-hand arrows, it means it's the first column in the block. So you can see here that employee 2 is the first column in the second block. We can take that away by saying merge blocks. Perhaps we want to move it up one. And then we can make the end time the new block starter. So if we save that, we're in scheduling. We've now got end time here. And the other field has moved. In order, we'll show you now moving one, so go design organized fields. Example, maybe I want my project number to be in the main columns, so I can simply do that, and it will sit at the bottom of the main columns unless you choose to move it. Now to move it, you can either move it straight to the top, or you can use these ones to go up or down one, these two here to go up or down one. So I'm going to have the project number underneath the customer name. Save that, and you can see project number over here on the left. With organized sublevels and actions, it works in much the same way. We can get to it by going organized fields and then actions. If I wanted to hide the prepare shipping document, I could hide it in this form only. And if I wanted quick access to the purchase order form, I can move it up to second in the list. If we now look at the actions, the only one that's visible is prepare shipping in doc/sales invoice, which is a different action than just simply prepare shipping document. And let's have a look at that again with the sublevels. Again, I can go straight to organized fields and then sublevels. I can move the shipping address up to the top, and product bundles I could move to third. Just save it. It really is that simple. And again, you can hide any of the sublevels as well. And you can see now that those have moved. When you're happy, let's say I was happy with that now, you can use the copy form design to copy that across to your other users simply by going to System Management Generators, Forms, Copy Form Design. And what you do is you put the form name in this case it would be orders, you pick the user you're copying from, who you're copying to, whether you're copying the field design, the sub-level design, direct activation design, or even the record coloring, and then which language from and to, which if you're copying across would be, which if you're copying across would be the same language, British English to British English in general. So we're going to now jump back into the PowerPoint. And we're going to have a look at the Privilege Explorer. So we'll be discussing the benefit of Priorities Privilege feature. The idea of privileges is to offer a top-down hierarchical solution to enable users to access only relevant parts of the priority system and not have access to irrelevant or sensitive data, i.e. any parts of the system they are not responsible for, or sensitive data like company accounts. The idea is that the tabular user and anyone within the tabular user group will be able to access all menus in the system. However, some extremely high-level privileges, such as installing the tabular task scheduler or installing the application server, are reserved for only users with tabular login credentials. Privileges are then decided by privilege group leader, and the users that are in that privilege group will inherit those privileges. Companies utilize a myriad of different ways to control how their users can access the system. For example, some set up a selection of non-users and group leaders, then give them names of business sections, i.e. sales, finance, HR, etc., and then just determine privileges for each department and have the staff allocated to their relevant admin group. Others will have physical department heads as their admin privilege group leader and have staff allocated to them in that way. And a few choose to make everyone their own group leader and adjust privileges on an individual basis. This option is not recommended unless you have a lot of time on your hands. However, it has been successfully implemented in the past. So we're going to move on to the Privilege Explorer itself. Let's open that up. So System Management, System Maintenance, Privileges, Privilege Explorer. This is laid out in a tree explorer format, and the tree we see in the Explorer directly relates to the menu structure within Priority. We're going to open up my user as a privilege group leader's privileges. And it's laid out in each menu heading, i.e. financial, CRM, sales, project management, etc. As you open up a tree, as you can see, I'm going to open up the sales tree here. And I'm going to go down further into orders and sales orders. So this is all of the actions related to the sales order form. And so as you go further through the tree, it gives you the ability to restrict privileges on a single form or subform, or even on a single report or procedure, or of course grant them. Now what we can see here is that this individual, Jamal, has privileges to everything within the sales order form, except for prepare shipping document, which he is unable to use, a little bit like earlier. So if we want to take something else away, like prepare a sales invoice, we simply click the red button there to take that away. If we wanted to give, again, very simple, we just grant it by clicking the green button. And then you can see the subforms down here. You can take away entire access to subforms like this, or you can go further down into the open up button menu to take away individual aspects in that sense. So you do have the option to blanket grant or take away privileges. For example, in financials, if I wanted to give access to everything in financials, I could simply just click the right run button, and then that would filter down through all of those privileges. We can go even further into that though. So with the sales order form that we've got here, we've got 3 buttons on the right-hand side. We've got here copy privileges. So once you've got all your privileges set up how you like them, you can copy to other users. Simply tick the tick boxes to give those exact privileges to other people. It's important to know that the users would need the higher up. So they would need access to the sales menu in order to be granted these privileges. And then you also have the option to copy to other companies. And again, your user needs to have access to, for example, in this instance, the sales menu in order to have those privileges copied over. So I could do that, for example, for Rock Luggage and Booth Ventures. The next one across allows you to grant or take away access to specific columns within the form itself. So, for example, if I wanted this user to not be able to do anything to do with sales reps, I could just take that away. Or I could simply, let's say with the price quotation, make it a read-only field. I could make a lot of things read-only fields for this user if I wanted to. That's pretty useful in order to build some structure downwards on the actual form itself. So let's get rid of those. Next, we have this button here, the third button along. And what this is it's all of the error or warning messages on that form. And you can change them either to a warning message, or you can take the message away completely. Or if they are a warning message, you can increase it to an error message. For example, here, I could change this one to an error message. And for this specify link coverage, I could take that message away if I wanted to, and you can see it turns into an N there. And once we're happy with everything, what we would do, there's one more, sorry, just before that. If I didn't want this user to be able to delete any records in that form, I could just declick the delete records box, and then they wouldn't be able to delete any records at all, which is very useful if you want them to be able to see and add data, but not get rid of it. So now when we're happy, what we can do is click the save button there. And then we'll just come out of that. And we're going to jump, ooh, crikey. Jump back into the PowerPoint. So next we're going to have a look at packages, the packages function within Priority. Design by Packages enables you to organize and design your workspace by subject. Each package contains forms, fields, and programs for a specific topic. A single click will enable the relevant package for the user's task. Packages are divided into various categories. If a certain category is not needed, it can be hidden in its entirety. So above, you can see the same form with all packages hidden, so that's every single package that Priority offers. You can see the difference in the before and after photos on the sales order form. So on the visible tab, references, there is now only 4 fields after we've taken away all the other packages. This can be handy for new staff training, so they perhaps don't feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of columns that Priority has to offer. So there's a few different ways to make changes to packages. The first way is the whole system, and directly from your homepage. You can access it by selecting the highlighted button in the top right corner there, and then you can just click Hide Packages or Show Them. You can either do it for the entire package, or the package breaks down into the numbers shown, and you can show or hide individual aspects of a package. So to show an example of this, I'm going to remove projects. So let's just jump back into Priority. So you'll see in the sales order form, There's a tab for projects, project description, and also project number, but we've obviously just moved that, but that's fine. And if we go to CRM and we go to price quotation, we also have a project tab here with project number, project description, and project manager. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do exactly what I said, which is click on that button. We're going to go to operations. We're going to go to P for project, and we're going to hide the package entirely. And it says, so the only thing is you do have to log back in. Thank you. And that should be logged. Silly me, put the wrong username in there. And now if we go back to sales orders, you'll see that the project tab has disappeared completely. It's not there anymore. And if we go back into price quotations for customers, the project tab will still be there, but it now only has cell phone as an option, none of the project fields. They have all gone. If we go to now, so the second way of doing it is to go into a specific form. We can go to purchase orders. And we can take a look at the blanket order. So this reference to blanket orders here. What we want to do is get rid of that reference to blanket orders. We don't want that. So we're going to go to the design, packages, logistics, and where it has blanket purchase orders, we're going to hide that individual one there and save it. And it's going to do the same thing again, which is ask us to log back in. And doing it this way will only hide it for that specific form. If we open up purchase orders again, we should have no reference to blanket orders, and you can see it has gone. So what this does is it allows you to streamline your user experience. Packages are done on a user by user basis. However, as a manager with customized workspace option, you can make changes for your other users. So let's have a look at that. If we go to system management, system maintenance packages, there's a whole packages menu here. And what we can do is in the auxiliary programs is show and hide packages. It's not quite as, it's a bit less user-friendly, this one, but you can pick any user on the system, pick which package you don't want them to be able to see, and then choose whether to hide or display it. Obviously, if they don't have it displayed, you can choose to show it for them. There's a few options there, for example, like the Argentina localization. We might want to hide that for this user because it is irrelevant to them. So yeah, you cannot copy packages or your sort of mixture of how you've set your own system up to other users in the same way as you can with copy forms. However, you can alter other people's packages using the ShowHide Packages function. And as I did mention before, you can only use this feature if you have the Customize Workspace button ticked. So let's jump back into the PowerPoint. And it's just some more pictures of what we were just discussing then. So thank you very much for coming to the webinar today on privileges and packages. I'll now have a look live as whether there's any questions. Thank you for listening, and let's have a look and see if there's any questions. Thank you.